Hello, I am here with Ron, our personal trainer and owner of TrueFit Personal Fitness, which is right next door to Vancouver Wellness Studio. Hi, Ron. And we are going to talk about his approach to chronic pain today. So I'm just going to go ahead and start you off with our first question. How do you approach chronic pain?
I think one, I always need to know and like to know what a person's dealing with in terms of where their pain manifests and how it presents itself. Um, it's interesting because there's such a wide swath of information on what chronic pain is and why it is, and
Mhm.
from a movement standpoint, the jury has kind of come through with the movement is good for dealing with chronic pain on so many different levels, from a mental level, from a physical level. I approach chronic pain as like a stagnation or a blockage in
Mm.
body's energy systems, and so by allowing a body to move through space, it tends to alleviate a great deal of that pain response. And so those people that I've dealt with who have suffered from chronic pain always report almost immediately a reduction in symptoms. And
Mm.
um, to better answer your question, how do I deal with it? I just kind of throw it in the jar of fitness and movement and let it do what it does.
Mm. Yeah, let the body do what it knows how to do when it's moving.
Yeah.
How are you seeing the impacts of COVID affecting your clients with chronic pain?
It's been interesting. I wouldn't say there's any one response. I know that the added stress of COVID has exacerbated a lot of people's issues, but again, once we start moving, it really tends to manage a lot of the pain and a lot of the stress.
Mhm.
Stress functions like a wrench in the system,
Yeah.
and we use that analogy a lot in our culture to say someone threw a wrench in the system, so it's not working like it should. But it's bigger than that. It's not about the wrench being in the system. It's about finding the wrench in the system. And if
Yeah.
you build your machine to be serviceable, if you can reach all the areas of your machine, then it's a little easier to get that wrench out.
Mhm.
And so I think what TrueFit has provided for my clients with chronic pain is a consistent um, mode or method of dealing with a lot of the stress that's come about. And so
Mm.
I almost feel like it hasn't been as bad as if people didn't have a place to come exercise and come move.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear
Mhm.
that, and just thinking about my own experience too, just having a place to move and to feel, some liberation in movement. It's been such a confining time,
Mhm.
that in and of itself can be such a relief.
Yeah, yeah. It's been again the duality of the social aspect that eases stress and the movement, because COVID really hasn't affected how we move,
Mhm.
hasn't affected how our bodies deal with movement. So at the end of the day, if you get to exercise, however that looks, you're going to feel better. Period.
Mm. Yeah, Ron.
Yeah.
Um, I think you've touched in on it a little bit here, but I want just a little bit more detail. What have been some of the most successful approaches that you've used in lessening and preventing chronic pain?
Um, I don't know how to get more specific other than to say that myself and my other trainers, have um, cultivated a space that allows for people to um, one express their issues, whatever those may be, And then as personal trainers, we work on an individual basis with people around whatever issues they may have. So if someone's having, for instance, we've got a client who suffered from a broken back, and that surfaces whenever rigorous exercise is kind of introduced.
Mm.
So our position is to, one, accept where she is now, um, and then gently um, encourage movement pattern that we know are safe for her from a physiological standpoint. So again, we're kind of coming at it from a emotional, mental space. A lot of chronic pain has such a devastating emotional effect on people because of its pervasive nature.
Yes.
A lot of times, just knowing that the company you're in, one, has a detailed understanding of how physiology and anatomy works, so that we can present safe movements for people who otherwise would have the fear that comes with movement, and then building upon that and cultivating that so that people can uh, move not more freely, but just have a better understanding as to how they should move. And then that in turn helps to, again, manage people's pain. Is that a little more detail?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what really stands out to me in what you're saying is that you really do meet your clients exactly where they are,
Yeah.
and you work from there. So every approach, um, every exercise, every time you work out, it's a little bit unique and tailored to what that client specifically needs. But it sounds like in your broad approach, it's really to listen and to support and to find where those challenges or those blockages can be met and worked with, and either overcome or bolstered in a way that supports your clients. So, yeah. Ron, what inspires you about this work?
Oh, I don't even know where to start with that. The animal, human bodies, human spirits are to me like nothing else. Nothing else in existence is walking around. 8 billion of us, 7.8 billion of us walking around, and it's really easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle and the go of our society and our culture. And what inspires me most is when someone understands, if 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 someone can leave here with a deeper understanding of who they are and how they work,
Mm,
that is like the hero's journey. Like, think of any comic sci-fi film where you have a superhero who we all know is a superhero, but he doesn't know it yet, or she doesn't know it yet, right? Or they don't know it yet. And as soon as they figure it out, um, that's the end all be it. That inspires me on such a deep level. And it also is interesting that to see people move inspires me. I can't tell you, sometimes I'm envious to watch my clients train, because in that moment they're getting to access that wealth of resource that is the human spirit, and to be in your body is so good. um, Literally, I can't even tell you how many times I'm watching and watching their struggle, be
yeah.
it heavyweight or be it a set that is just that last one that's the hardest. I love what happens in that space. I love how the synergy of what we are as beings comes together and is able to be ego free and be what it is in that moment. I absolutely
Mm,
love that, and that's what gets me every time. That's why I'm still doing this. I know how I feel, and I know how good it feels when I'm working um, synergistically in my own body. And so I know that everybody so far feels the same way. Um, it's magic. It's magic. It's like we have a world of substances that help people get away from their stress, get away from their worries, get away from the world. Physical exertion is that drug for me. And
yeah.
so that's the inspiration that fuels me.
I am inspired just talking to you about it, Ron. And
Yay. That's good.
Yeah. 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 Being in our bodies is magical, is amazing. And I think, like you said, chronic pain can be so emotionally devastating and pervasive in its nature. And to find that pleasure of strength and agency and um, it's powerful. It's potent medicine that we can create ourselves with the support of others, but ultimately it's coming from our own spirit and from our own body. And I so treasure talking to you about it because it lights me up and gets me excited to be in my body. And I'm thinking like about, I'm like, oh man, I should go work out today. I want to feel that space. It reminds me that I want to feel that space. So what do you feel is the most important thing for people to understand about chronic pain?
Um, I think a lot of times, and I'm speaking from let's call it some experience with like when I tore my Achilles, and that was a solid year
Mm,
of of, of dare I say being disabled of a sort. I couldn't do what I wanted to do, and there was pain there, and that pain is a drain on your overall system resource, and it's really hard to in the moment think outside of it. I think people get stuck and think this is just my new reality. This is how it's going to be, and I need to learn to live with this. And that's not true. That's not true at all. I think that most situations can be managed, and there's so much to be said about the power of one's mind. And when bodies are working properly, they will heal. And so I think that's the biggest part to get across to people who are at that hopeless point where they think that this is just how it is, that it isn't, that you still have, to use your word, agency. You still have power. You still have an ability to engage in activities that support your system in a way that you can, in time, um, mitigate that pain.
mhm,
So it doesn't rule you. It doesn't, it's not calling the shots. You still get to call the shots.
mm.
And that's hard. That's a hard place to be. It's depending on what it is you're dealing with. It can be overwhelming. And so, yeah, like I listened to a podcast about lighthouses, and lighthouses lead the way. It's dark. I can't see. I don't know where the land is. This ocean is crazy. It's tossing me about, but oh, there it is. There's the light. Follow it, and there's land there. And so,
Mm.
um, I don't know if the word is hope. I don't want to infer there's any randomness about it, because through a course of action that's well planned out and thought out and customized to your needs, you can change just about anything.
Thank you, Ron.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ron. Mm. Such a joy to talk with you. Thank you so much for taking this time with me to talk more about chronic pain. And are there any last words?
I'm going to work out now. I'm going to I do the hardest workout on Mondays because I figure it's the best way to start the week. And it's interesting when I say it out loud, I do the hardest work on Monday because it makes the week go by.
Mm,
Because I exhaust myself, um, both mentally, spiritually, and physically,
mm,
point where the rest of the week it's okay, it's good. I got her done. I got the most important part done, and um, I'm looking forward to that.
I admire it.
Yay!
Have a beautiful workout,
I
and
will.
I'll see you at work.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you. Bye.
If you felt inspired by that conversation with our trainer, Bryan, you can learn more about him on our website. We also offer free 15-minute consultations with each of our practitioners, and that can be found on our website as well, vancouverwellnessstudio.com. Thanks.